Here's the thing about your movie, why I made a curator's pick of the Hollywood Fringe Festival. Community, heart,
Black Book Mondays, SOS. Hey, this is Brian Harris again at the Independent Black Voters Mixer. We're partying with a purpose. Folks, we've had everybody. We've had libertarians.
It's really clear that where the government has gotten involved in these issues, they've done a bad job, right? You look at 1% of the population controlling so much of our wealth. I think a big part of that is the federal government subsidizes big businesses, right? The government has artificially low interest rates. The government had quantitative easing, which was functionally a transfer of wealth from poor people to rich people. They support housing prices artificially, which makes it harder for people who aren't born with legacy wealth to get to become homeowners and to elevate themselves into the next class. And through things like occupational licensing, regulation, special exemptions and tax deductions for people who are already connected, it makes class mobility difficult, right? A libertarian approach makes entrepreneurship easier, more available for everyone. It's the way you can go from being born in a certain income level to dying at a higher income level.
We've had independents.
Guys over there tell me they want to put together a CD4 debate.
That's what I'm hearing.
Since the big shots, the selected top so-called candidates won't allow to kind of shut us out, I'm interested in doing it.
Let's do it.
So if you're interested in doing it, I told them I'll throw my hat in and let's get some people who are really talking about issues that are important to the people.
Right.
And that way that builds up excitement in it. And it also pushes those so-called top candidates to start looking at those issues that truly are important to the people.
I agree, and I think it's important right now for the people that aren't the anointed ones to understand that there's people out here that really know the issues and really want to fight for the community, and we need to be heard. And so I'm definitely interested in that. You know, I've never met a microphone I didn't like. So you hand me one and we'll chat, and I think we probably have a lot of common ground, but I also think we have some disagreements, but it's important because it gets us thinking.
You're an educator.
Yeah.
We had a bill that was passed to bring the tax dollars from the marijuana sales, and there's plenty of sales in marijuana. Whether you agree with it or not, it's generating a lot of tax dollars. Well, that money was supposed to go towards, or a percentage of it was to go towards education. And we know what really happened is that money got diverted to the general fund, actually in the rainy day fund, and that money's not going to education.
Listen, I know every single cent of my budget, and I know every line item, and I can tell you it, I memorized it. Not $1 has come from the marijuana money.
We had Democrats.
You know, I am a black man, and my life do matter. You know, if you are black people, your life should matter. You are white people, your life should matter. You're Hispanic, your life should matter. Everybody's life should matter. You know, and what I like about this event right here, it's on our issues. It's talking about what's for black folks. You know, I can talk about DACA, I can talk about taxes, but I want to talk about reparations. It's time for our peoples to come up. Every time we had a chance to make a move to come up, somebody come in this country and they take it from us. When they say equal rights, we thought they mean equal rights for everybody. But we see that ain't the same.
And guess what? We have Republicans here.
We got the Golden Knights, which is fantastic. They're doing great. The Raiders will be really nice, but we really need to work on our education system here in the state.
Okay, I'm going to tell you something. I have a slightly different take. You're a businessman, and so I admire you. Here's the thing I tell people. Every politician talks about education. It sounds good. It sounds nice. But here's a fact. Do you know of any middle class or above communities that really have school problems?
Well, you know what? I think that comes down. I actually do see problems in middle class.
But you
schools.
don't see many. The majority go to the ones
like Title I schools and so forth.
I guess what I'm trying to say is we have a economic gap.
Yes, we
that
do.
is driving a lot of our educational issues, and why it's nice to talk. Education is a nice It's a nice feel that everybody likes. But the truth of the matter is, one of the things as an independent black voter and a believer that economics is the underlying of a lot of what's going on. Disproportionately in this state, we are seeing black Americans who contribute, who put in their taxes, etc., are being locked out of opportunities, and many opportunities. The marijuana industry for being one. The industry, even as they are doing the convention centers, the stadiums, and everything else, we're not really getting our ability to reap the benefits from this area like we should. As a governor, you know, like one of the things I'm going to ask you, the marijuana industry, which is growing leaps and bounds, it was put together with some very, what I call, false barriers. You know, let's face it, the folks who were the best at it were in jail or came out of jail, and they aren't allowed to participate. A lot of the people who were putting people in jail for marijuana are now becoming multimillionaires off the same marijuana industry. How would you as governor look to try to help to bring a little more fairness into this growth industry, to make sure that people like us get the opportunity to grow with this industry, not just as users, but as business owners?
Well, let me first, we need to be fair with everybody, and I think we need to have that equality in our system, in our communities. So as a governor, I want to make sure things are fair with people. It doesn't matter where you come from. We're going to make sure the playing field is level so that we can all get out there and have the same opportunities. So I don't believe that one particular group of people should have something better over another particular group of people. And as far as talking about the education system, one of my main platform issues is basically to revamp the Nevada plan, and that is how we fund our state. That Nevada plan is 51 years old. It needs to be taken down, and it needs to be we need to talk about how we distribute those funds, which goes back to what you were just talking about how that money goes to different, like for different schools, like Title I schools, the funding and proportionately who gets more money for different situations, you know, people who come from different backgrounds or so forth. So that's a big platform issue with me, is getting the best and the most knowledgeable people to redo the Nevada plan, because it's outdated. As far as marijuana goes, I'm not an advocate for marijuana whatsoever, but I do understand that it has been passed by the people of this state. So as a governor, it would be my role to make sure that those laws are fulfilled properly and they're done fairly. And I'm not aware of any what you were just talking about, how, you know, people out of jail are now running the marijuana industry or whatnot.
No, they are locked out of the industry.
Locked out of the industry. So I'm not aware of what that whole situation is going on, and I will definitely look into that.